here, loudguitars.com. We got Andreas from Sepultura.
How are you, man?
Good, man. How you doing?
Good.
Ready for the show?
Yeah, getting there.
How's the bill been so far?
It's great, man. You know, great to tour with that Angel. Good friends from a long time. Actually, it's the first time we're doing a tour together like this. And Crisium, you know, a band from Brazil.
Yeah.
We had this dream to tour with a Brazilian band for a long time, you know, but it was very difficult to bring somebody from Brazil and without a label, you know. But Crisium now they have their own structure, you know,
Yeah.
so they can support themselves on the road. And very happy with the package. And Havoc, you know, from Colorado,
Yeah.
thrash band, very powerful and stuff.
Good
and
new
it's
thrash
looking
band,
great,
for
yeah,
sure,
it's
yeah.
really cool.
That's cool, man. Your new album, Kairos.
Kairos.
Very, very cool stuff. For
Thank
me,
you.
I'm a long-time Sepultura fan. I've been following your stuff a long time. I feel that your new album, you kind of have a little bit of a wink to the past going in it.
Yeah, I mean, it is an album that we talk about Sepultura.
Yeah.
You know, it's the band itself is the main inspiration for everything we did on the album. Sorry. And you know, naturally, you know, we had a little bit of everything we did in the past. You know, more of the thrash stuff, the death
Yeah.
metal. I mean, the percussion and some orchestral stuff. You know, we have a little bit of everything, and we talk about ourselves. You know, we have lyrics to our family, to our fans, and the experience we have on the road. You know,
Yeah.
and press, labels, and everything. You know, so I guess it's more a personal, stronger album because it's easier when you talk about yourself. Easier and harder at the same
Yeah,
time. You
yeah,
know?
sure. Well, plus, like from what I see from, you know, first time I heard stuff like Mass Hypnosis, and
Yeah.
Inner Self, and that, you guys were very straightforward thrash, little bit of death, and you guys slowly started changing and evolving a little bit, and now it's like you guys are writing for yourself, right? Like you don't need to follow anything.
Yeah, I mean, I think we got to our, let's say, our freedom,
Yeah.
musical freedom during like Chaos AD, you know, especially during the Rise tour, because up to a Rise, you know, a lot of people still compare in a bad way to Slayer, you know, like, of course we have a big influence from Slayer, we never deny that,
That's
you know,
right.
but touring with Arise, we tour with Ozzy Osbourne, we tour with Ministry, we tour in Australia, we did Rock in Rio Festival, you know, we really grew up very
Yeah.
fast in the last in those 2 years of touring, you know. So I think all that experience that we got, you know, went to KUZD, and we start using more of the percussive elements from
absolutely,
Brazilian
yeah.
music.
Which is your roots.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So you're
and
being honest to
and we
yourself.
denied that before
That's
because
right,
you know
yeah.
we always liked the stuff from out Brazil, not you know the Brazilian stuff,
Sure.
you know. But we start using those elements and starting to be more, let's say, apart from everybody else, you know,
Yeah.
using the Brazilian influence, which was very natural for us, although we're sleeping inside, but you know,
That's right.
we woke that Brazilian monster.
For me, like,
and it worked, you know. Great.
absolutely. Chaos AD, Arise to me was the album that said, holy shit, these guys are here. Chaos AD, you started really sounding
Yeah, yeah.
unique, and then by Roots, forget it. You guys were your own.
And they are very different albums from each
Absolutely,
other,
yeah.
you know, and that's the beauty. I mean, that's the spirit of Sepultura, you know, really go after new ideas and new elements without being afraid of
Yeah.
trying or having that risk, you know, and that's why we are Sepultura today still. You know, a lot of
Yeah.
people, oh, we'll change the name and do that and stuff. I mean, the spirit is the same, you know.
Absolutely.
We change people inside who, I mean, Max and Igor, they chose to leave the band,
That's
you know. They weren't fired or nothing, you know. They chose to leave, you know.
That's
So
right.
I mean, we kept the good stuff about the name and the bad stuff as well, you know.
Yeah.
All the you know financial hell that we had, and you know.
Digging out.
Yeah, like you know, all the stuff that we have to deal with it. You know, we kept that as well.
Yeah.
You know, people just have a tendency to say, "Oh, you guys kept all the you know the good stuff, but the bad stuff as well." You know, but you know, we grew up, we built this and everything. So and that spirit's still alive. You know, we're still
Absolutely.
going after new ideas, new countries, new places, and you know, Kairos is it's a representation of that. You know, Kairos is a concept of time, which is not chronological. You know, it's just this moment, the
That's
now.
right.
You know, the
Right here.
present. So it means for us on this album that you know, we respect our past, but we're not trapped there.
Yeah.
You know, we are here today. You know, so Kairos, the moment now. You know, so I guess that's the representation musically and lyrically and all that Sepultura spirit that's still very much alive.
It's a bitchin' album. The album sounds good as well.
Yeah, very
Now,
happy.
as a guitar player, obviously when you're in your late teens, 20s, you're listening to what I hear. You hear Randy Rhoads in there.
Oh yeah.
What else were you listening to?
I mean, I started with the Case and Queen. You know, these were my first
Yeah.
rock and roll bands,
Yeah.
and you know, Brian May and Ace Frehley and that stuff, and you know, of course, Van Halen, Iron Maiden, and Judas Priest, Black Sabbath, Deep Purple, Led Zeppelin, Jimi Hendrix, Eric Clapton, Cream.
Now,
you know,
was
this was more the stuff I loved. You know, in
was
those
that
days.
easy to get music like that in Brazil?
Not
at the
really,
time?
not really. I mean, the bigger names like Kiss and Queen, they have like,
Right.
you know, their albums released. My first album I bought was the A Night at the Opera, you know, by Queen.
Yeah, classic.
Good start, right?
Yeah, for sure, man.
And,
So,
but you know, like all this underground stuff was very much harder. But you know, that's where the underground scene started in Brazil. You know, like
that's right. Yeah.
exchanging tapes and all that.
It's to me, I find it really remarkable, like a band coming from where you guys came from. You moved to the States. I don't know when exactly that was, but you started from basically nothing, and now you've created everyone who plays guitar that does anything heavy with their right hand owes it to Sepultura. As far as you guys are
Cool.
one of the most influential thrash bands after the Big Four, right?
Well, I think so, man. It seems that way because we see so many bands, independently of the country we go. You know, it's kind of scary to see that our music goes to places like Lebanon,
Yeah.
like Morocco. You know, like
What a
Cuba.
dream, though,
and
eh?
stuff,
Did you know that was going to happen when you
No,
were 16?
I mean, you
man?
never expect, you know,
Yeah.
Iraq, you know, Syria, you
Yeah.
know, independently of the political problems, religion, you know, borders and stuff and
Sure.
all that, the music gets there, you know. It's worse than air or water, you
That's
know,
right,
it goes
yeah.
everywhere. you know.
Absolutely.
And it's great, you know, because we went to play in those places, you know, that I just mentioned, and you see that people follow the history of the band since the beginning. you know.
Fanatical.
They understand, they know the music and stuff, and that's a great feeling. You know, it's very motivating. You know, for us to keep going.
Yeah.
You know, to really express what we feel in music, and it's good to know that it's reaching people. You know.
It's awesome. So after somewhere around the 90s, Max Splits, you audition how many people before you meet Derek?
You know, we didn't audition that many. I know we got, you know, millions of tapes. You know, like people from all over the world like sending stuff.
Yeah.
We had one guy in the States and one guy in Europe that were doing like a
Collecting. on it,
pre-collecting,
yeah.
you know, like just, you know, doing like the pre-selection for us just to send. But basically the most important things were like, you know, people that we knew, like in label and
Yeah.
management companies that say, I know this guy, you know, like
That's
more
right,
like
yeah.
of a connection like that, you know. And Derek was like that, you know. We spent a year, like 9 months as a trio, like after Max left the band, just to put our heads together, you know, to bring somebody in right at that moment would be crazy,
Not
you know.
good, yeah.
Try to deal with something that it was finishing to deal with something with was beginning, you know, it was kind of
Yeah.
crazy. So we took our time. We spent as a trio just practicing. I was doing the vocals and stuff. I really tried to be the singer, you
Yeah.
know, but it was not my thing, you know. It's something else. It's another sphere, you know. It
That's
has really
right,
to
yeah.
incorporate certain things that I wasn't ready to, you know, to give up guitar parts
That's
or
right,
guitar
exactly.
time, you know, to do that.
Well,
you
yeah,
know.
your guitar parts are occupied,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Max took up a lot of room too,
yeah,
right?
exactly. So, you know, but Derek came in as a suggestion of somebody that worked at Roadrunner, that was a mutual friend, you know, and he sent a tape with his vocals. We liked a lot. He came down to Brazil. We did some practice and stuff, and we thought he was the guy who could bring something new to the group, you know, not like a Max clone that, you know,
That's the
either
last thing you
visually,
wanna do.
yeah, it's like, I mean, Judas Priest did kind of like that, you know, Rob Halford with
Yeah.
Ripper and stuff, and but we didn't want it to do that. You know,
That's
we
right,
wanted
yeah.
to really explore what was there. You know, it was like the Kairos moment. You know,
Absolutely, yeah.
right. What's now? You know.
Well, you know, when you take Ozzy out of the Sabbath situation, you put Dio in.
Yeah, that was
Like, there's an argument.
different,
People
yeah.
are like, "Oh, it's fucking Ozzy." It's like, I like the Dio era
I love
Sabbath.
both. Yeah, man.
I
me
love
too.
both, right? So, has your playing and writing changed at all with Derek in the band, or have you just evolved because you're better at what you do now?
I think both. I think both. Of course, it changed. You know, Max was a great partner. You know, we wrote the Sepultura material
right,
together. You know, basically. So it was different. You know, that's why those 3 months, those 9 months without a singer, without just us three, you know, were very important for us to feel what was missing. You know,
And
the
refocus.
holes and what, you know, we need somebody else. And as soon we got a fourth guy there working with us, was just like it clicked. You know,
Yeah.
that's what we
Did you
we
know
used
right
to do.
away?
Yeah, right
Nice.
there. And it was not even Derek, you know, it was somebody else that we were trying to work. So, dude, we need somebody else, you know,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
it makes
yeah.
sense.
That's
you know?
right. Yeah.
So, but we weren't ready at that time to bring somebody, and Derek came and stuff, and we tried to develop our sound, you know, playing the old stuff. I think Paulo's bass sound improved a lot,
Yeah.
you know, because a
He
lot
was
of
always
room.
lost in the
yeah,
mix,
yeah,
yeah.
a lot of room for him. We use a lot of more percussion, you know. Derek used a lot more percussion live, and we just and you know, I had a lot of more freedom too on my guitar, you know. I have a lot more freedom to improvise, you
Yeah,
know,
that's cool.
in parts and, you know, different picking, whatever, you know.
Sure.
So that part is great. It's a lot more freedom, you know. And Max, you know, live, he was not really playing that much.
Yeah.
He was more like into the
Entertaining.
yeah,
Yeah,
which
yeah,
was
yeah.
great, you know.
Sure,
That was
man.
his part, you know, very
Yeah.
charismatic and very powerful, you know, hands and, you know, and guitar was just like
Yeah.
so basically we were used to play as a power trio.
That's right,
You know,
yeah,
just
sure.
holding up the singer. So in that sense it didn't change that much, you know.
Yeah.
For the crowd it changed a lot, but inside we knew that, you know, the core
Yeah.
was always held by the trio,
power
you know.
trio,
So
yeah.
he could have the freedom really to do that extra stuff, you know, that
And
really
Derek takes up a bit of room as well. He's got like
Yeah,
a
that's
big
true.
character to him, right? Eh? So then he joins the band, and then his fucking grunge metal comes out and kills metal. So
Pretty much.
how do you as a guitar player and find your inspiration to keep writing and playing music when all of a sudden you're playing in front of piles of people and the scene just drops out? Like, how does that change?
It was
your
hard, you know, because a lot of people still blame that kind of change only because of Max leaving the band. They don't put all the things that
Time.
were going on
Yeah.
around, you know, like the changes, you know. I always like to say that, you know, Sepultura had a lot of changes inside, yes, but many changes outside, you
That's
know,
right.
technological, like vinyl to CD
Yeah.
to download, computers, cellular phones. When Sepultura started, we only have like phone and fax machine, you
That's
know.
right, yeah.
That was the
That was
the
it.
most.
And you could go and do stuff and not get bothered.
And then, you know, a lot of stuff changed at the same time, you know, and we had to deal with that. But motivation is that. I mean, life itself, you know, it's motivation enough, you know.
Yeah.
And I feel privileged to be a musician and to be a part as a band, as Sepultura, in a band as Sepultura, you know, that have this kind of possibility to go everywhere in the world, you know, have a great history behind, and it's where you grow, you know. If everything is safe and it's comfortable,
Very
you
true,
you
yeah.
just you stop, you know. So
like a
in a sense,
character test,
I'm
right?
thankful, you know,
Yeah,
for
yeah,
the stuff
sure.
that happens, you know, because
I feel I hear it in your music as well, because the late 80s, early 90s was so vibrant for metal, man. There was
Yeah,
so many
yeah.
good bands playing everywhere.
That's
Then all of a
great.
sudden, middle to end of 90s, it was done, finished. And now, over the past couple of years, like Alex, Kairos, like, these are albums that sound like they're almost like rejuvenated, you know?
yeah, true.
And
It is. I mean, it's like you know, we grow up and you know, we have families and kids. You know,
Yeah.
we have so much energy to explore in music. You know, not only the bad stuff we see. You know, terrorist attacks, and
Yeah.
we have a lot of fuel or feed to
Yeah,
talk about. You
absolutely,
know,
yeah.
topics, but all the good stuff as well. You know, to build a family, to have kids, and to be together as a band, especially with Paul and Derek is already like 15
Family,
years or something.
yeah.
I don't know. So it's great, to, like I said, it's a privilege to be a part of something like this. That we go everywhere, and music we do every day.
That's
With
right.
my guitar here, like collecting ideas for music
Hubris?
songs, hubris,
Yeah.
and everything else.
It's really cool, man. I mean, it's nice to touch base with you on this stuff, and I
Cool,
find it inspiring that an artist can transcend all of that stuff, and you guys are like,
Yeah,
bam,
music is the answer.
Yeah.
It might sound cocky for some people, but it is what it is. It's really something that you go there and you deal with your demons.
Yeah.
And people go to fucking doctors and take drugs or do anything, any kinds of stuff to deal with that kind of stuff. We all have to deal with our demons, and
Yeah.
art itself, it's, I think, one of the best ways to do that,
You're putting it out there on a stage.
Yeah,
either
you
people
have a
like it or
feedback,
they don't, yeah.
and you deal with different opinions, whatever positive or negative, but you deal with that, and that's life, it keep us alive,
Now that you're not 20-something anymore like me, has your approach to playing changed at all? Like, do you approach songwriting differently?
I don't know, I don't think so. I still feel the same,
Yeah.
feel the same when I go to practice room. I still feel, good to play
Yeah.
guitar and to be there hours, working on ideas and recording demos and whatever you feel the day, music, there's a lot to do with that. You can have this riff that maybe you try on Monday that if you try that on Wednesday, it will work. You know what I
That's
mean?
right, yeah.
It's like a lot of the mood. If you come home, if you slept good or not. I mean,
That's
there's
right.
a lot of alive stuff going on. So we like to go in the practice room. I like to go in the practice room and and play. Regardless of my bad or good mood,
Do
and
you
record
record?
everything. Yes,
Everything, yeah.
everything. So we can deal with that later.
Yeah.
I might have like a bad moment or something. I write, oh, this is shit, but it's there.
Yeah.
And
And
then we
then you
listen.
hear
It's
it.
like, fuck, man.
Yeah, it's not
It could
bad.
go this or could go there.
So you're a total riff pack rat then.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely, man. I mean, for my Uber stuff,
Yeah.
my solo album was like that. I have like demos, drum machine, just rhythms and like little ideas here and there, riffs or just a lick or something that developed in such a huge, like
Yeah.
a full song with orchestras and
Oh,
stuff.
it's so awesome.
It's
to
great, just to
involve
keep
that.
that idea, and because our memory sucks,
Absolutely.
If you don't put there, it vanished.
Yeah.
So
And how do you capture your stuff when you're on the road?
I have a recording advice that I keep with me all the time. Just collecting sounds, general sounds. On Kairos, you have like between like 3 or 4 songs. You have those interludes.
Yeah.
I record that, like try to represent the nows. The
Nice.
moments of nows, of
Yeah.
present. Like it happens every time for everybody. So be aware of now.
Nice. So, you still playing the old Charvels?
Well, my Charvel, it's actually it's in an exposition in Brazil right now.
All right. So that one's not being played with the
No.
Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Yeah,
sticker.
exactly.
Nice.
So that guitar I used like 2 years ago. I brought back on the road, but I use so much. I use on the studio, of course. Every
Yes.
Sepultura album, she's there.
Nice.
It's a guitar that I love so much. And it's time for her to rest a little bit.
Yeah, she's a little beat up, eh?
But
What are you playing?
I still use Jackson guitars, like the Randy Rhoads model that I love so much. I have Fender Stratocasters that I've been using for 10 years.
Older ones or newer ones? Or?
No, but like 90s Mexican ones.
Okay.
Great, work fucking great for Sepultura. Jackson and Fender are the same company, basically, so it's very easy, to deal with both. And I'm developing a guitar in Brazil with a luthier called Seiji Tajima. He's this Japanese Brazilian guy, like an old guy, a master, handcraft and stuff. And I'm using tonight, the guitar Seiji. And it's developing good. I have a plan to release a signature model in Brazil for the Brazilian market with him. Hopefully at the end of the year we're gonna have like a line of his guitars, you know, going. And it's cool, you know. It's fun to develop something like that.
It's
with
yours.
such an artist,
Yeah. So you're running a few different tunings now too, right?
Yes, yes. B flat, you know, which I use strings, heavy strings from 13s to 56, and the tuning in D, which I use strings 10s, you know, to 46. Basically, these are the two tunings we start using since Roots. You know, we've been using that since then.
And into your Mesa Boogies.
Mesa Boogie, I have my tri-axis everywhere that I go. I have my preamp, so I could use with any head or any cabinets, you know, and it helps for me to have at least the core of my sound there. But the perfect ideal situation is, of course, I have the Strategy 500 with the tri-axis, my Mesa Boogie cabinets and stuff, and it works fantastic. And also I have a Brazilian amp called Meteoro, which I developed a signature model as well. But I use that more in Brazil. You know, it's very hard to travel with it and stuff, unfortunately, you know. But there's something that is cool, yeah. But it's something cool really to develop as well, you know, to have such a straight contact with that and stuff. So
I'm looking forward
I
to
had the
hearing that,
strings
for
and
sure.
stuff, you know. In Brazil it's cool. I just put out a Crybaby from Dunlop, you know, a signature model, only in Brazil as well, you know, so they are the guinea pigs, so if it works, it goes everywhere.
Right on, man. Well, again, man.
Cool, man.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Awesome hanging with you, man.
Cheers, man.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.